15 is one of those golf holes that really excites me. And right now you've got 15 as a par 3, and it's a long, hard par 3. And we've got the ability to push those tees back a little bit and really create a fun, short, strategic par 4. And really the idea is that from whatever tee complex that you play, that if you hit the ball well or you're hitting the ball well, that you actually feel that you might have an opportunity to drive the screen. And what we've done is we've created a set of tees that play all the way up. And I think from the very forward tee, it's about 200 yards or about 207 yards downhill, which is still a long shot, but a shot that really kind of opens up some ability to play different golf shots. Again, what we'd like to do is incorporate or utilize a part of the wash as a strategic option. And we wouldn't necessarily grade this any different, but create an area where if you wanted to play the safer shot down to the right away from this fairway bunker, you're going to be a little bit lower and you're going to have a harder shot into the green. You can play a layup shot short of this bunker and have a short chip shot into the green, or you can try to drive it over this bunker and a short chip shot, or even try to drive the green. So again, create a green complex in a golf hole that really creates a lot of variety and difference to the golf course. And really, it's golf holes like hole number 10 at Riviera that inspire some of these thoughts with these with the 15th hole. And if you've watched the LA Open, you can see where some pros decide that they're going to try to drive the green, and they might be rewarded where they reach the green and they have a chance at eagle, or if they hit it back left of the 10th hole at Riviera, they might make double bogey. And so we want to create a situation here where we give you all those options to play kind of a unique, fun, short par 4. The 19th hole, and it looks like we're out of sequence, but this is this additional green that we have right now down in the wash area right now. We wouldn't look to make some major changes. I think the biggest change is that we want to bring that green complex out of the wash and create a situation where it's above the flood zone. Maybe it was the 20th hole. I mislabeled it. 16th hole, par 5, uphill, very difficult, long par 5. And again, we would like to create some different variety from different lengths of tees. If you look at, here's the back tee right here that plays over 600 yards all the way up to the forward tee. And I apologize, I can't read my own. I can't read my screen right now, but I think it's about a 430-yard par 5 for uphill for the forward tee. So there's such a disparity of distance, but also we're creating a golf hole that's going to play the right distance for the right golfer. We've had some fun with this. We've had some fun with this where, again, we're utilizing the wash. We're utilizing areas where we're allowing people to hit their drive, but they've got a wider landing area. If they choose this wider landing area down into the wash, then they're going to have a kind of a more interesting second shot into to the second landing area. This is a golf hole that we've actually proposed to eliminate all bunkers on the golf hole. We feel like we've got enough distance and enough challenge there that we can create variety and aesthetics with the way that we shape the fairway and we shape the green complex. 17th hole, and I alluded to this before, but the current 17th green is in this location right here, and the changes to 17 kind of dovetail into our thoughts with creating different variety for par 3s, as well as creating a safety buffer for the proposed practice range that we've got down in this location. And so we'd look to rebuild this green complex short of the existing green complex. The tee complex would essentially stay in the same location, and it would be a great par 3. I think we've got about 180 yards from the back tees. The 18th hole, and you've got a beautiful, strategic, pretty demanding par 4 closing hole, and we'd like to play on that. Really what we'd like to do is, part of this is the 18th tee complex. We would actually slide a little bit to the right, and that is in concert with the changes that we would do to allow for a full-length practice range and allow people hitting drivers. And you'll see here, as we slide this tee to the right, it actually impacts the cart path coming off of 13, and that's why we had proposed to move the cart path to the left and back of 13. 18, again, create a par 4 that's going to be challenging, demanding, and fun for all skill levels. Add a few fairway bunkers, 2 fairway bunkers here, one short right and one left, but still allow a large open landing area for some of your higher handicap golfers. Again, you've got a well bunkered green complex, and we want to keep that theme, but also allow that green to kind of accept shots. If you're going to be hitting a hybrid or a 3-wood or a 3-iron into this green complex, we want to create a green that kind of accepts those shots that will stay on the green. Yes. Thank you. Perfect. So we've prepared a cost estimate. We've prepared it a couple different ways, and what we have focused on is trying to break down the cost estimate so that you can understand it from a feature analysis, whether or not we're talking cart paths or greens or tees or bunkers or any or tree plantings, and create a comprehensive cost estimate. What we've done is we've looked at the different projects that we've renovated or built over the last 3 years, talked with contractors, shown them our project, and we've worked out some fairly, what I would call, conservative cost estimates. And the last thing that I want to do is prepare a cost estimate and have it come back and be 10% or 15% higher. And so we've got a contingency in here where we've got a base cost, and then we've added 10% potential planning and design. And that's not necessarily something for golf, but it's whether or not we need civil engineering or landscape architecture or irrigation or those items. Those are items that we've tried to account for, and then we've added a 10% contingency on top of that. Another way that we've broken this down is we've done it on a hole-by-hole basis, where we've said, okay, we know that we've got certain costs for whether it be the practice putting green, whether it be hole number 4, whether it be hole number 17. We've got a cost that kind of says, okay, if you look at it on a feature-by-feature basis, this is what it costs. If you're looking at it on a hole-by-hole basis, this is what it costs. And then working further, what we tried to do in working with the committee is look at what I would call 3 potential projects that might get implemented. And we broke them into projects A, B, and C, or options A, B, and C. And these aren't necessarily in order of importance to least importance, but they're ideas of projects of size that we think make sense. And it's not necessarily projects where we say, oh, let's go rebuild all the sand bunkers on the golf course, or let's rebuild all the tees on the golf course. It was more looking at specific areas. And then option A is an area where we look at rebuilding the practice putting green, the short game green complex, just at the edge of the parking lot here, and hole number 10. Option B, and I know this might be a little hard to read from the back, but I'll explain it. You'll have it in your notes as well. Would essentially be the practice range option, where we would implement the practice range and then do some small modifications to the 18th hole, the tee complex, the 14th tee complex, because both of those tee complexes are impacted by the changes to the practice range, and then the 17th green complex as well. And then option C is one where we would look at tackling kind of projects that are a little bit more unique. The 15th hole, which would be the short reachable par 4, the 11th hole, and the changes to the 12th hole. So in conclusion, what we've been doing for the last 8 months now is working closely with your committee to make sure that we're creating a master plan that we think is specific to Mission Lakes Country Club. And we've endeavored to, for lack of a better term, create a roadmap for future improvements so that you can understand where the club's going to go over the next 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 years, depending on how this might be implemented. We're really focused on trying to create a consistent style of architecture, that you've got tee complexes that match, that you've got bunker complexes, that their cart paths are in the right location, that you've got greens that are playable and maintainable. And then what I think is paramount is a golf course that's going to be playable, because you've got a beautiful golf course, and we want to make sure that we have a golf course that's going to be playable, whether you're in your 60s or your 70s or your 80s. That's going to be an enjoyable golf course for time to come. And then add interest in really trying to create some shot value you know, we described it with the par threes, we described it with the change to 15, but really create some interest where, again, you're not hitting the same golf club on 3 or 4 par threes together. So that is the end of my presentation. I appreciate you guys sitting through this.